She hugged every child in the class, except the only black student. What happened next would shake the entire community. Welcome to the Untold Struggles, the channel where the hidden stories of injustice are uncovered and the voices silenced for too long are finally heard. Today's story is about a boy named Malik Johnson, a 12-year-old black student who just wanted what every child deserves: kindness, fairness, and dignity. But one teacher's cruel decision would expose a deeper problem hiding in plain sight. Watch until the very end, because this story will not only shock you, but leave you questioning what justice really means. It was the last day of school before winter break. Students were buzzing with excitement, lining up to give their teacher, Ms. Caroline Whitmore, a hug goodbye. She was a tall, stern-looking woman in her early 40s with pale blonde hair, tied neatly in a bun. To most parents, she was a model teacher. But Malik had seen another side of her. One by one, each child, mostly white, walked up with smiles, wrapping their arms around Ms. Whitmore. She bent low, smiled warmly, and hugged them back. Malik, shy but hopeful, clutched the small holiday card he had made by hand. It had glitter glue, crooked edges, and a drawing of a snowman holding a basketball, his favorite sport. When his turn came, he smiled nervously. "Happy holidays, Ms. Whitmore," he said softly, handing her the card. Ms. Whitmore glanced at the card without warmth. Then, when Malik stepped forward with open arms, she did something that silenced the whole classroom. She took a step back. Her hands went up, palms outward like he was contagious. Her voice cut sharp. "No, Malik, that won't be necessary." The room went silent. Malik froze. He didn't understand. Every other child had gotten a hug. Why not him? The other students whispered. Some laughed nervously. Others just stared. Malik's chest tightened. His eyes watered, but he forced himself not to cry. "Take your seat, Malik," Ms. Whitmore said coldly. He sat down, card still trembling in his hand. That card, which he had worked on all night, was now just a reminder of humiliation. When his mother, Malik Johnson, picked him up from school, she immediately noticed his silence. Usually, Malik would chatter about his day, his friends, and his basketball dreams. But that day, he stared at the car window, his reflection blurred with tears. "What happened, baby?" she asked softly. Malik broke down. She hugged everyone except me. Angela's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Her son was only 12, yet already learning the cruel sting of being treated as less than. If you believe stories like Malik's deserve to be heard, stop right now and hit that subscribe button. Join us on the Untold Struggles as we bring hidden truths to light. Angela was no stranger to injustice. She worked 2 jobs, often facing subtle discrimination from bosses who assumed she was uneducated. But this was personal. This was her son's heart. The next morning, Angela marched into the principal's office. Principal Robert Ellis, a balding man in his 50s, greeted her with his usual forced smile. "Mrs. Johnson, what seems to be the problem?" Angela wasted no time. "My son was humiliated yesterday." Ms. Whitmore hugged every child in that classroom except for Malik. "Do you understand the damage that does to a 12-year-old boy?" The principal shifted uncomfortably. "I'm sure Ms. Whitmore didn't mean anything by it. Maybe it was a misunderstanding." Angela's eyes narrowed. A misunderstanding is forgetting a name. This was a deliberate choice, and I want to know why. Principal Ellis sighed. "I'll speak to Ms. Whitmore, but I don't think this warrants." Angela cut him off. "It does warrant. My son deserves dignity. If you won't act, I'll take this to the school board. Or better yet, the media." For the first time, Principal Ellis's mask cracked. He knew this could not be buried. Word spread quickly. Some parents defended Ms. Whitmore, saying she was old-fashioned or just strict. Others whispered that Malik was too sensitive. But then, something unexpected happened. A student, Emily Sanders, one of Malik's classmates, went home and told her parents what she saw. Her father, a local journalist, decided to investigate. Soon, the story hit the local news. Black student denied hug while white classmates embraced. The community erupted. Some called it a minor incident blown out of proportion. But others saw it for what it was, a symbol of the quiet, casual racism that scars young black children every day. At the next school board meeting, Angela stood before a crowded room. Parents, teachers, and reporters filled every seat. Malik sat beside her, nervous but brave. Ms. Whitmore sat across the room, her arms folded, lips pursed in defiance. Angela's voice shook, but she spoke with fire. My son is not invisible. He is not less than. He is not someone you can reject without consequence. What message are we sending when a teacher can embrace every child except the only black boy in the room? The room fell silent. Ms. Whitmore finally spoke. I didn't hug Malik because I didn't feel comfortable. That's my right as an educator. The crowd gasped. Angela's reply was sharp as a blade. Your comfort is not more important than my child's humanity. The board voted to suspend Ms. Whitmore, pending investigation. Parents who once defended her grew quiet. Students began sharing subtle ways she had singled Malik out before. Harsher punishments, ignored questions, lower grades on assignments. What began as a single hug revealed a pattern of discrimination. Justice, it seemed, was beginning to turn. Angela hugged her son tightly that night. Baby, don't ever let someone make you feel unworthy. You are loved, you are valuable, and you deserve respect. Remember, sometimes the smallest actions reveal the biggest truths. Malik, still hurt but stronger, whispered back. One day I'll tell my story so no kid feels like I did. But just as Angela thought the battle was over, an envelope arrived in the mail. It was a letter from Ms. Whitmore's lawyer, threatening to sue for defamation. Angela's eyes widened. This fight isn't over. Angela sat at the kitchen table, the letter trembling in her hands. The paper carried the weight of intimidation. It read, Dear Mrs. Johnson, your accusations against Ms. Caroline Whitmore have caused irreparable damage to her reputation. Unless you retract your statements publicly, we will pursue legal action for defamation. Angela's heart sank. Malik sat across from her, sipping cocoa, unaware of the storm brewing. Mom, why do you look so worried? Angela forced a smile. Nothing for you to worry about, baby. Just grown-up stuff. But inside, her resolve hardened. If they think a letter will silence me, they don't know who they're dealing with. The following week, the atmosphere at school changed. Teachers who once smiled at Angela now looked away. Parents who once greeted her whispered behind her back. Malik noticed too. His classmates started teasing him more often. Your mom's just trying to get our teacher fired. Bet you think you're special. Every word cut like glass. Angela confronted Principal Ellis again. Now my son is being bullied because your teacher can't admit her actions were wrong. And instead of protecting him, you're allowing this smear campaign to continue. Principal Ellis folded his hands calmly. Mrs. Johnson, with all due respect, Ms. Whitmore has served this district for over 15 years. She has many supporters. If this escalates further, I'm afraid the board will side with her. Angela's jaw clenched. So this is what it feels like when an entire system chooses to protect one of their own at the expense of the truth. Angela knew she needed backup. She reached out to attorney David Carter, a black civil rights lawyer known for fighting tough cases. David listened carefully, his sharp eyes studying every detail as Angela retold the events. Malik sat quietly beside her, clutching his notebook. David finally leaned back and said, They're trying to scare you into silence. Don't let them. What Ms. Whitmore did may seem small to some, but it's discrimination, plain and simple. And if they want a legal battle, we'll give them one. Angela's shoulders eased slightly for the first time in weeks. Thank you. I just want my son to know he matters. If you're still with us, this is where things get serious. If you believe stories like Malik's need to be told, hit that subscribe button right now and join us on the Untold Struggles. Before the legal fight could even begin, the media storm intensified. Local reporters camped outside Angela's apartment. Headlines exploded online. Is this about race or just a misunderstanding? Beloved teacher faces defamation from angry parent. Hug or no hug, community divided. Angela read the comments late into the night. Some people supported her, flooding her inbox with love. But others spewed hate, questioning her parenting, calling her dramatic, divisive. and worse. Malik overheard one night as she cried quietly in her room. He knocked softly. "Mom, if it's too hard, we could just drop it." Angela turned to him, tears glistening but her voice steady. "No, baby. If we drop it, they win. And then they'll do it to the next child and the next. We fight, not just for you, but for them too." Weeks later, Angela and David sat across from Ms. Whitmore and her lawyer in a stark conference room. Ms. Whitmore looked polished, smug even, her lips curled in a faint smile as if she had already won. Her lawyer fired the first question. "Mrs. Johnson, do you have proof that Ms. Whitmore singled out your son because of his race?" Angela's voice was steady. "My proof is my son's tears. My proof is the witnesses who saw her hug every child but him. My proof is the pattern of treatment he's endured all year. The harsher punishments, the ignored questions, the lowered grades. That's my proof." Ms. Whitmore scoffed. "Or maybe Malik is just more difficult than the others." David leaned forward, voice sharp. "Say that again. Say it clearly into the record." The room went quiet. Ms. Whitmore hesitated, realizing too late that her words had revealed more than she intended. As the case gained traction, more parents came forward. One mother admitted that Ms. Whitmore often dismissed Malik's answers in class, even when correct. Another revealed she had seen Ms. Whitmore call him trouble for minor things others got away with. Piece by piece, the facade of the beloved teacher crumbled. Angela stood taller each day. Malik, too, began to smile again, knowing the truth was finally being heard. But just as they started to feel a sense of justice, the school district made a shocking move. They announced that Malik would be transferred to another school for his own comfort. Angela was furious. "They punished the victim, not the perpetrator. They would rather remove my child than hold their teacher accountable." David nodded grimly. "This is bigger than just one teacher. This is systemic. And now, we fight not just for Malik, but for every black student who's been pushed out instead of protected." Angela looked at her son. "Baby, remember this. Sometimes standing up for what's right means standing alone at first. But once the truth is out, others will rise with you." Malik, stronger now, replied, "Then let's keep fighting." The night before the first court hearing, Angela received a phone call from an unknown number. A low, threatening voice said, "If you know what's good for you and your boy, drop this case. Or else." Angela's hand trembled as she hung up. She looked over at Malik, asleep on the couch, peaceful and unaware. Her heart pounded. The battle was no longer just about dignity. It was about safety. The screen fades to black. To be continued. If this story shook you, don't let Malik's fight be forgotten. Share this video so others can see the truth. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles, because every story matters and every struggle deserves to be told.